Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Tilted Talk. As always, you've got Trooper, and this week we've got a special guest with us, Zest. So, first of all, how's it going, dude?
It's good, man. It's been good.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, guys, there's quite a few things to discuss this week. There's only 2 weeks left before the World Cup, so that anticipation is building. People are getting ready. But before we get into Fortnite news and all that sort of stuff, we're just going to kick right off with talking to Zest and getting this interview underway. So first of all, can you maybe give a little bit of background on yourself, how you got into Fortnite, how you started playing Fortnite, and I believe you compete as well, right? You've made some money playing this game.
Yes, I do compete a little bit.
Cool.
My name's Zest, also known as Christian. I'm 15 years old, turning 16 in about 3 months. I've been playing Fortnite since the start of Season 2, which was like the OG era. Everybody called that the OG era. I play right now under Hyperroom Esports. Currently, I'm contracted to them, and yeah, that's basically.
Okay. What got you into the game? Like, were you playing a bunch of other games before that, or?
So before I started playing Fortnite, I actually played on Xbox. Fortnite was my first PC game, and I really got into it. I was playing Call of Duty, and I think my brother was playing, my little brother. And what happened was he's like, "Oh, play this game," and I'm like, "Oh, that game looks terrible," and I hopped on it, and I was addicted ever since.
Did you start playing on console first or PC?
So I think I had a PC back then for like a year, and it was like a really good PC. I just didn't really use it, and then I hopped on just for that game actually.
That's what's up.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do you use mouse and keyboard?
I do.
Okay. Cool.
Oh,
Nice.
he's got the final mouse.
I
It's
do.
light as air. I heard once you use that mouse though, every other mouse after that, it just feels like a brick.
That's very true. I can vouch that.
Interesting.
Yep.
Apparently, I have the wrong mouse. That's why I'm not
Yeah.
good at PC. We just figured it
That's-
out. That will
that's the-
solve
that's
all
the
of my
reason,
problems. That will solve
Figured it
everything.
out.
Okay, so you compete. Can you tell us a little bit about the competition you entered and like, did you compete? I'm assuming in the World Cup.
I did compete in World Cup.
Okay,
I
that's good.
actually did miss a couple weeks, so that did really like throw me off a little bit. I think it was like 4 solo weeks, and there was only 5, so like kind of like screwed me a little bit. I didn't really make any money off World Cup. I've made a lot of money off other events though, like LANs and stuff like that.
I'm curious how your placement was in that one solo week that you did. Do you recall how well you did? Did you feel like it was kind of pretty good, at least for just the one shot that you had?
It was okay. I think I was like 4 points off qualifying for the finals. So that wasn't that bad because I wasn't like a really good solo player. I was more like duos. Like I did do 1 week in duos and I did really, really good.
Nice.
I think it was week 4. I got top 150.
Okay.
So that was pretty good.
That
Okay,
sounds good.
nice. So what are the events that you've kind of won your money in so far? Were they like local lands, or are they smaller online things, or where have you been using your name?
Okay, so do you guys know about the Mixer Matchups LAN that like happened in November 2
Yep.
years ago or a year ago?
Yep.
So
Yep.
I got in the NA East, I'd say like Ghost was there, World's Best Gaming, TSM Cowboy, his friends, another team called Vile, which is like known as like a tier 2 organization. They were all competing there, and I got 6th out of like all the teams that were there. There was like probably I'd say 2,000 people competing, and we got 6th.
Cool.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Okay. So now that we know a little bit about you, I know you also were involved with like the Scrim Discord kind of scene, right? Like,
Yes.
so do you want to get into that a little bit and maybe first of all tell us like how you got involved with that, like, and how anybody gets involved with that? Like, do you have to be invited specifically? Do you have to know somebody that can invite you to one of these servers? Like, how does all this work?
Okay, so right now there's like I'd say there's like 3 or 4 main discords. There used to be a ton. There used to just be FNPO, which was like, but that like kind of died out. But basically the 3 or 4 is like T-Fault scrims, which you need to subscribe to Tfue Phase, or not Phase anymore, but Tfue on Twitch. The other one is Matrix Keyboards, which anybody can get in, and they run actually tournaments like almost every day for like keyboards, keycaps, which I did win the keycaps once. If you want to see them, I can show them.
Nice.
I don't know.
You want to go for it?
Oh, that's sweet. I like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
they're rubber keycaps, so that's kind of nice. And then there's obviously Atlantis. So with those scrim discords, Atlantis you can get in. You just have to like file like a little thing and like verify that that's your account, And anybody can play them. You just hop in. They run custom games for everyone. You can compete with like the best players in Atlantis also, which is kind of nice.
Cool.
Yep.
So is there a big skill? I'm assuming there's a pretty big skill discrepancy and seriousness, like how seriously people are taking its discrepancy in some of these. Then, if anybody can kind of just hop in, you have people who are real tryhard and people who are just maybe bored one day and decide this is what they're going to do today.
Yeah, so with Atlantis, they do have custom rules that the hosts can create, or they can just follow the regular rules. I think I was the only host trying different rules. I think all the other hosts were just either following what I was doing or doing the basic rules. But so the rules are like, you can't fight till the second zone closes. And what that does is it makes it so there's like 80 players alive at that time. And what that does is just at the end, you have so many players just, trying to get that victory royale and, boxing up and just trying to win the game against these like pro players. And even if you're not that good, if you keep playing these, you can get good. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So how do these custom lobbies work? Because obviously, if you just play Fortnite like online, as soon as you're out, you just start a new game and you go right back into it. So are there like significant waiting periods between some of these games, or do you need the full 100 players to run the server, or will you guys run a server with like 70 people in it or something like that?
Okay, so I think you know how to like get them, support creator, and then so I have customs. There's like I think they have like 40 hosts in there, and the hosts usually run trios and duos. I was like one of the only hosts that would run everything. I ran solos at night, duos in the afternoon, stuff like that. But so you can start them whenever you want. It says it on the bottom right how many you have. Like, so if there's like 120, you start it, and they like cut 20 people out. I usually start it at like 80, 90-ish. So then everybody gets in and they can have their fun. But yeah, you can start it whenever you want.
Okay. And you just touched on it briefly, but obviously custom games aren't available to everybody, so you have to have your supporter creator code done to be able to run this.
So people with supporter creator codes, a minimal amount of them have customs. I was one of the lucky ones that got them because I had like 200 supporters when they were giving them out, and I just received them and I could just start games. But like, yeah, minimal people have them.
Cool. So I mean, I guess that does put you in kind of a unique position then, where you're one of the few people who's actually able to do this sort of thing and actually run these types of servers. So my assumption is that would make you pretty valuable to one of these Discord groups, because there's not that many people who can actually do this and kind of set these customs up. Even though a lot of people might want to play in them, there's only a limited number of the amount of lobbies that are available, right?
Yes, that's true. Very true.
Okay. Now, what are these things really, really good for? Like I come from some older school games where pros would run pro-only lobbies, right? Like, so you actually had to be a pro, or at least a semi-pro, if they were short on pros that day to get in. Like, you had to have a name. With such big skill discrepancies, like, are they really, really good practice, or?
So honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. It kind of depends on the times of the day.
Okay.
So during early morning, you could see like maybe like little kids playing. They're not really serious. But at night, I'd say around like 9-ish to like 2 in the morning, you will get the best practice you will ever find in the world. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the time where all the best players are pretty much all online at the same time.
That is very true. That's why I like to play from like 9-ish to like 4 in the morning, because you will find the best players. You'll get the best practice then.
Very true.
You're 15, don't you have school?
Not right now. I'm in summer.
Yeah. But I mean, normally, like, so what do you do during the school year for practice?
So on the school year, I usually get on at like 3-ish. I go to the gym for an hour, somewhere in between, and then I get off at like 10:30-ish.
Okay.
Sounds like a pretty reasonable schedule.
It is.
Nice.
And then I VOD review for an hour. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you just do I'm assuming you just do your own VOD reviews?
So actually, when they had the other cups, not before World Cup, but they had other cups like World Cup, or not World Cup, what am I saying? Like Blackheart.
Yeah.
And they released all the replay files for them. So I literally just got the file in Fortnite, and I could just go through the whole replay. Like if I was at like E3 or TwitchCon, and I was just viewing it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you would just kind of like watch other people who maybe did really, really well and see what you could learn?
That is, yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
On that grind, I like that.
Yep.
Cool. So having been a part of these servers and being involved with them, what are some of the, are there any major problems with them? And if so, what are these problems?
Okay, so let me touch off this from the Atlantis, how I was affected by these. So basically in Atlantis, only mods, management, and I believe helpers can ban people. So me being only a host, I can't kick or ban people. I can just start customs and end them and stuff like that. So when somebody cheats in my game, I have to fully report someone. And the problem with reporting someone in Atlantis is it takes like 20 minutes because you need to go in. They say you can use Gaia's video, but you really can't because Gaia's video only takes like 10 seconds and it needs to be a minimum of 30 seconds to clip, which is kind of like it tilts you a little bit. So
Yeah.
once you get the clip, then you need to either like I don't know how you would get them a link, but I like usually everybody goes on YouTube. You need to upload it to YouTube, which I don't want to spam my viewers with a bunch of clips of people like cheating.
Mhm.
So you need to do that. You need to upload the YouTube video, get them the link, then go in mod mail in the Discord, give the mod mail the link, like write like a whole paragraph on how they cheated, how you were in the right and they were in the wrong, and then you need to send it into the mod mail and have the mods review it, and that takes like 2 days.
Just sounds needlessly complicated.
It's very complicated.
So do you have any power when because you're hosting one of these servers and one of these lobbies? Do you have power in that specific lobby to kick someone from that game? Like, can you see the full list of people who are in there and go, I don't want you in this game, or
No,
are you not
can't do
allowed
that.
to? So you can't do that. So the
Really?
custom game lobbies are, that's weird.
Wow.
Yeah, she can't do that
That's
at all.
actually really weird because I don't think there's any other game that is a custom game lobby where the party leader, so to speak, for lack of a better term, doesn't have the ability to control the party or kick someone from the party, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you totally. It's just not. I think they're just like, I don't know how to say it, like under technology, if that makes sense. Like they don't have as much as other games have. They're just like kind of new to competitive play right now.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense, but at the same time, like this isn't necessarily new technology, and in terms of like this has been around since like Halo 2.
Yeah,
Like,
they're just
before that.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems.
Okay, so if someone cheats in one of your lobbies, you have no immediate recourse. Like if there's a guy who's just queuing up and cheating in some way, you don't have the ability to. So you essentially have to remake the lobby.
Well, I'd have to try to get the kick to him, so I'd have to go through the whole process. I'd have to wait 2 days, and I just have to go with the game and hope the kid dies.
Yeah.
To someone else. Yeah.
So, how do people cheat online? Like, I'm curious a little bit about this. Like, what are some of the most common cheats? Are they just breaking the rules of the rules, or are they actually using like in-game hacks, or like what are the most common occurrences of this?
Okay, so all the Fortnite players, the reason they're in these scrim discords is they want practice. They want everyone to follow the rules, get to the last zone,
right,
and get some good practice at the end. But what these players do is they don't actually have hacks. What they do is some of them will like cheat, and then they will get another Discord account, and they'll go on another so say they have their main account linked to Atlantis. They'll go on a secondary Fortnite account and play on that account. So if they're cheating on that, there's no way we can track them because they have their primary account linked.
Right.
So if that makes sense. So like if we want to ban someone and we look up their account and it's not their actual main account, there's no way to track them. Another thing that they do is they will shoot before the zone. They'll just kill people for no reason. So if somebody has a baller, I don't know if you know what that is, or like a vehicle, they will just break it. They're not allowed to do that unless it's theirs, obviously. They'll just like if somebody's in zone and they're just running, they'll just shoot them when the zone's not even the zone rule.
So just to understand, these are you guys are running scrims that are essentially like just for end game practice and stuff. So you're waiting until a late zone for everyone to actually engage, right?
Yes. That's
okay.
right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify for anybody that's not familiar how the scrims work. But yeah, that's pretty sound advice, or familiar for anybody that's been in the scrims. The best practice comes in the late game. So the idea is to loot up, and then there's generally a truce, so to speak, in a way that you only engage in usually the 5th, 6th circle, whatever, when the game actually becomes difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. So any time before that, somebody's shooting at you. Yeah, it's definitely it's. I've seen a lot of instances where people are always just like if they're trolling or whatever, but people get kicked out pretty quickly for stuff like that. So it's unfortunate that you have to go through such a process.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, that's it's very illuminating. You know, you would think that especially with so much money on the line, that Fortnite would have like a very clear system for how to do it. I'm assuming so. Do the absolute best players in the world, when you're talking about the guys who have literally qualified for the World Cup, do they have their own servers where they're just not in, or are some of these guys in the servers like Atlantis that you're in?
So I actually have a couple friends that qualified for World Cup. Like Colorful, Class, some of the big players right now. And I've seen them actually compete in the things like Senbuga, very good solo player. Probably I would say the best solo player, in the world. He actually plays in them, and I've seen him play in them. I've had him in my custom lobbies when I used to host, and I mean, yeah, they're mixed in there. Like you won't even notice. Like I won't even notice someone's in the game. I'll like kill him or die to him. I'll be like, oh, he's in the game, and like you know what I mean, like stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Okay. So that's even kind of more startling because you'd think that, for the very, very best players, they definitely wouldn't want to have to deal with that in their practice, right? Like if these guys are trying to gear up for the amount of money that's on the line, they'd want to be able to practice as efficiently as possible. And to have this sort of thing happening in the environments that they use is kind of disturbing, to be honest.
It is very.
Okay. Tyler, is there anything that I didn't touch on about the Discords and kind of how this works that you're interested in finding out?
I'd say that you pretty much touched on everything. All the questions that I asked were pretty much answered. You explained it in a pretty concise way, I'd say. I mean, it's just like I said, really unfortunate that that's an issue. Do you know if there's, I mean, is there any chance that that protocol can change in the near future? Is this just something that they're just sticking with? Is there other people that seem to have an issue with this kind of thing, or is it really only you that kind of has to deal with like this level?
Okay. So I know all the other hosts that aren't mods, they deal with stuff like this where they don't want to go through the whole process, and I know that a lot of them keep silent because they just want to keep hosting. They don't really. The reason I went off on the mods and I added them in the host chat and all that stuff is because I was done with it. I actually cared about the Discord. I cared about the practice that the players received. I wanted, the Atlantis, the org that runs the whole Discord. I love their team. I love everything they do, where they started and all that stuff. So when I see that like their Discord is like going downhill rapidly, it really like I'm like, oh, I have to fix this. I have to help this, but I can't really do anything, when I can't kick people or ban people.
Okay. So again, just to make this clear for anybody watching, there's the hosts, which are people like you who actually get to host the games, and you're essentially the lifeblood of what these servers are because you're the people actually allowing people to scrim.
Yes.
And then there's a mod team that's above you guys in a sense that actually is in charge of running the whole community. Is that an accurate assessment? Okay.
Yes.
So only the mods have the ability to actually remove people from the server. And then how would them removing someone from the server, because this is the part that I'm still a little bit unclear on, how is getting somebody removed from the server, how does that remove them from your game?
Okay, so the only way these players get in the custom games is when I put it in the announcements, like the code is this, and then they just press ready up and they wait for me to start it. So if the players are kicked from this Discord, or they usually get like 3-day bans or like whatever it is, they can't see the code and they can't queue up for the custom.
Oh, okay.
So they just can't, like they have to do other stuff. Okay.
So it works on like a code system. And I guess, yeah, you can't just generate a new code either because then the person would just rejoin that as well. And it doesn't really do anything except waste everyone's time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming and talking about this sort of stuff. Because we haven't actually had somebody who's really involved in that specific aspect of it that's, been willing to shed light on it or talk about it at all. So I definitely think it'll be enlightening for a lot of people who are kind of interested in learning more about how the community works, especially at the higher levels of competition, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, with all that being said, I think we are going to hop into news on the week then. Did you want to stick around?
Yeah, I'll stick around if you want me.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Absolutely.
Never hurts to have a third person. Okay, so new content update. It was small, but it was not small in terms of the impact it's going to have.
It was kind of a snooze fest, but of course, there's one thing that they changed. It was
the one thing that they changed is not a snooze fest at all. So we have airstrikes in this game now. we have the ability to call in an airstrike on somebody, which I am just. I mean, we have a clip here we can roll, and then of it rolling, like the actual trailer. I'm just going to start off by saying this is absolutely ridiculous, and to do this 2 weeks before the World Cup, like they were on such a good path. They weren't doing anything crazy, and then they do this.
Let me just say that I had a problem with this when they put it in Grand Theft Auto, the airstrikes, and now they're putting it in Fortnite of all games. I am not okay with this at all. Not even close. And like you think Grand Theft Auto, all right, maybe it has a place. No. This doesn't have a place in any place, but we're not playing a war game. Battle Royale. It's not I feel like the way that this is going to come into the play style, if you have one of these end game, whoever has that high ground, building out from those sky base areas, like in 7th, 8th circle, I mean, they're going to get torched with this. They better have gliders on them.
Yeah, definitely.
I can add a comment on that. So
yeah, what's up?
I was playing. It was the Matrix tournament, which is really good. I'd say it's better than Atlantis practice. We were doing the trio tournament actually like an hour before this interview, if you want to say that. But and we were actually end game, and we got that thrown on us. And the thing with that is it's like red. It's just like a red like thing that you see all around you, and you know. But when you're like getting spammed by other people end game, and you don't see it coming, you can't stop it. There's no way. So like if you get focused and somebody has that, you're dead.
That's I think that plays into like the audio issue too that people always been talking about. If you're like in your box and you're turbo building, getting sprayed, trying to stay alive, you might not, like you said, even notice that's being dropped on you, regardless of that red mist. But also, I mean, if that, unless that video just added that in there, it has that like air siren sound effect that also goes off. But I mean, granted, if you're in like a late game situation, so many items are going off too, and there's footsteps everywhere and like gunshots. Yeah, I can definitely see that you're not going to expect that or have it or see it coming at all.
No. So I don't really know what to make of it. I mean, it does a ton of damage. It does 75 damage to you and 200 to your builds. So your builds are just gone instantly.
I did see in a testing video that they tried throwing it on on different material, one level forts, like about 3 tiles wide. It pretty much obliterated all the wood material. Did about halfway through to what I'd say the brick would do, but it virtually left the metal. As long as you double the roof with the pyramid or the cones and the floor, you'll pretty much survive the entire barrage with metal. So I mean, that is the best counter for it. But if you only got your wood to go at the end game, I mean. Yeah, especially if you used all your metal, thinking that you were only going to need that much. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much a problem for those people.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we're going to be in a metal meta, I guess. You don't really have a choice. And you can carry 2 of them, too. They only drop 1 at a time, but you can stack 2. So.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
It is hard to find them, though. It is.
Yeah, they're rare, but I mean, that to me, with an item this powerful, the fact that it's super rare is almost even more frustrating because when you get to end game, it's not necessarily about which one of you is the best player. It's which one of you happen to find one of the 5 airstrikes that was on the map, or God forbid somebody finds 2, and now this person just has an inherent gigantic advantage in the late game situation. There was a tweet from Slasher that I kind of wanted to mention because I think this is relevant and kind of important, actually. I think we have that as well, so we can show you guys, but why on earth are they introducing this 2 weeks before the World Cup? And how do we know, or do we know? Like, because as far as I'm aware, maybe you can shed some light on this, Zest, but as far as I'm aware, there's no information on exactly what patch, exactly what settings the World Cup is being played on.
So they did release some rules, but they did not. I believe it's going to be the newest patch. Yeah, they have rules for it, but those are just like basic rules. But yeah, I mean, if they add like some kind of gun that's gonna totally change the game next week or the week that it is, that's gonna totally, somebody get like Clicks. I don't know if you guys have heard of Clicks.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best players.
Yeah.
If someone like Clicks, doesn't get a gun that's new and it's overpowered, and some kid that barely qualified by using fallers. Gets the gun, who's going to win, at that point.
It's true.
Yeah, and that's what kind of worries me a little bit.
So I saw a clip today where, by the way, the storm flip still in the game as well, and that I saw as somebody used in end game situation. I think it was E11 Chicken, and he used that storm flip. He had the high ground point building out away from the storm wall, threw one of them down right against the edge of the storm wall, like in the direction it was going. All the people in the ground, he ended up, I think it was between 9 and 11 kills he racked up. Just
why
with
are you
the
spoiling the clip of the week, bro?
was that really on there? Seriously? Jeez.
Yes, it was.
I should have looked. Sorry. But yeah, that is. But see what
It's
I'm
pretty
saying?
ridiculous.
How crazy that was?
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
way
nuts.
too effective.
Um,
Especially when 1 point if per elan, that is like that is so
Or
unheard of. He
think
got
about
it so fast too.
think about it when the storm gets really, really small, and you can just chuck that in, and it'll take up like the majority of
There's
the.
nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. How are you going to get away from this? I'm not a
Well,
big.
luckily,
fan.
I think they actually if I'm not mistaken, I think they disabled that for competitive.
That was for
right?
World Cup.
Just for the World Cup, so it's in arenas currently. I guess.
Yes, it is in arenas. I saw it today. In the
Okay, well, that's not great. Hopefully the airstrike does not make it into competitive. And yeah, here's Slasher's tweet, guys. Airstrikes to Fortnite 2 weeks before they compete for $30 million. Very cool. Typical Rod fashion. Not a fan of things that ruin the competitive integrity of something. And it's just super frustrating because it's like they've put in all this work. Epic and Fortnite have come so far in terms of legitimizing themselves as an esport and as a competitive title, and then for them to do stuff like this that just makes a mockery of their own game in a way where it's like, oh yeah, this is a super competitive game. I can now throw airstrikes at people. Like, what? Like, even Call of Duty disables that.
Yeah.
Like, most of the perks in COD you can't run in competitive because they're cheese. And this is one of them that it's like, you've got to be kidding me. The fact that this is in this game with 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know.
I can go all day on that kind of thing.
I easily could too. I'm disheartened. I feel like we've had to do it more times than I would like to on this show. It's not, it's not ever something that I want to do. But when stuff like this comes out, you do have to be like, guys, what is going on here? This is not.
Yeah.
And again, if they want to put it just in casual, totally cool with that. As soon as you talk about bringing it over to arena or something, though, it's like someone's got to draw a line in the sand and be like, whoa.
There should be, specific settings separate from casual game mode, like to arena. I mean, obviously they're trying to advertise Fortnite, but I think they want the competitive what they're showing in the tournaments to be the exact game that people are experiencing, regardless of whatever those items may be. Yeah. I'm just hoping that that Epic has been like this is the ultimate troll move they've been building up for 2 years, and that 1 week before the World Cup, they fix everything everyone's been bugging about for the last 8 months. The sound, they vault attack, and then they bring everything's back to season 5 level. Imagine if they just went boom, all right, good luck, and it's like the time machine theme or something. They could totally pull that off if they do a time machine season theme. Those are my only hope for pulling it together.
I wouldn't hold my breath for that, and I wouldn't even as much as I like some of the settings in the past, I wouldn't even want them to change it. I think it's really important that the players who've been putting in all this time and effort into practicing actually get to play on the settings in which they've been practicing, right? To have, if you have a loadout or you have something that you're really familiar with, this is what you like to run, and then all of a sudden that gets changed on you in some way, you don't have much time. And you're talking about life-changing money. You're talking about an entire college tuition. You're talking about a huge down payment or the whole payment on a house. You're talking about crazy money.
Think about this too. The updates are every Tuesday, between Tuesday and Wednesday, right? Sometimes they come through Wednesday, or no, sometimes Thursday.
Yes, sometimes they come through Thursday.
But the latest they can come Thursday, unless they say we're not doing an update this week. We're just going to do maybe a quality of life update before the World Cup. There could be an update as late as Thursday going into the weekend of the World Cup, which is 24 hours away from the official start time of the tournament. And that's literally impossible for most players that had to travel there to practice on, unless they bring a rig of some sort to practice on. Otherwise, you have to go there as early as you can to get all the practice you can. And there's so many players. If they do that, there's guaranteed at least one player that's going to go in completely new to a possible new item or new addition to the game. So like I'm just even imagining that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be rooting for those people.
Yeah,
the complete underdogs in that situation.
I hope that does not happen. I really, really hope
I
they
agree.
just do a quality of life change. But even this, like you're talking a week and a half to get adjusted to something that's going to completely change how you have to build, completely change your ability to go high without gliders, right? Like it's just.
This is going to be a pain in the ass for third party too.
Yes.
You're going to be build fighting, and then you're just going to see red smoke everywhere from some other dude.
Yep, and you're going to both be dead. Both of you are just going to like start dancing because you're like, well, we're in this together now.
It's reasons like this why I keep the gliders in my loadout. Like I always keep room for gliders. Doesn't matter. Just you never know.
Yeah,
True.
you have to. Okay, well, I think we've kind of beaten a dead horse at that. I mean, I don't think anybody's happy about it, but something that people are going to be happy about to change the mood a little bit and to change the tune: arena trios.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing now. It
Thank
just
God.
came out today. I think it's something the competitive community's been asking for a lot. It's nice to have a bigger mode so you can include one more person. And we've already seen some teams kind of, announce themselves. So you have like Aspect and Animal teaming up with Bugga. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Names are really hard, guys. I think you have like Zexro. Who is he teaming up with? But a bunch of teams have already been announced in terms of guys who are kind of grouping themselves up together. So how do you feel like Fortnite is going to play out in this bigger, more person mode? Like duos, you do see a lot, like while you see a lot of people working together, you see the duos kind of breaking off and almost fighting a lot of 1v1s against another duo, especially at higher levels. And once the building gets crazy, do you think this trios is going to be kind of the same thing? Or do you think it's going to be even more, like a bit more teamwork focused?
So I think with the trios, I do recall when I used to play squad champs in FNPO, which was like the most competitive thing back then. And squads is more of a team game. Now, I think, especially with the mat caps that they made with the 500, when you can't just depend on yourself to build so much, you're really going to need your teammates to, rely on for a shield. When I used to play squads, we used to have like one player that would hold a grenade launcher, one that would, have an just frag out.
That.
We'd have like separate roles. And actually, 100 Thieves LV, I don't know if you know who that is. One of the best, him and his duo are one of the best duos competing in Ace region. He used to make videos on that type of stuff and how teamwork is so necessary.
Okay, so you think we're going to see a bit more, because even in duos, you don't really see that. You don't see like specific loadouts. Like both guys just make themselves as self-sustaining as possible, right?
Yes.
So in trios, you think we're going to see maybe a little bit more of that switch back to a loadout-based era where you have maybe one guy who's carrying a lot more, one guy carrying explosives, one guy carrying a sniper, and another guy that's got like the heals or something like that. You can kind of spread it out a bit more evenly and use the stacks to your people's advantage.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It might be the perfect way for competitive that people have been asking for so much, because it's like duos, it's your teammate drops and then it's just you, which is so hard to overcome when you're at that level. When you're at squads, a 4-man squad, it's so much going on that you're bound to get caught in just the crossfire from a lot of like endgame fights. And also, I mean, that many people, it's bound to be a madhouse towards endgame. But 3 people, trios, I feel like that's the best of both worlds. It's like it's perfect. Obviously, with you'd have if somebody goes down, you still have enough firepower to overcome that deficit. Where like in duos, if you get like sniped through a window or a team duos 2 heavies, one shoots the wall and the other times the shot, like something that you just cannot expect to see coming. But stuff like that can just end the game so instantly, because then the whole lobby sometimes will just focus you, knowing, all right, they're torched, like let's try to pick up a quick elim if we can, and like 20 people get the same idea. So like if in trios, it's a nice middle ground. I think that a lot of people can that's where I think the best players are actually going to shine.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think you're going to see a lot of interesting play coming out of trios. I'm super excited. I think it's really, really good that this is now a thing. Again, though, just like I know we quickly mentioned this last week, but you have to have the whole trio. So you can't just queue up for it. Same as duos. You can't just queue up for it solo and get matched with other people. You actually have to have a trio.
Sadly,
but hey, yeah, sadly for the people who don't have friends. But if you do have friends, it's great. And hopefully your friends aren't terrible. And then, because that's always rough.
And if you can't find any friends that are terrible, then unfortunately you're the terrible friend. I'd hate to break the news to everybody watching, but I think that's how that is.
Yeah, that is how that works.
That may be me.
Yeah. Well, we can be terrible together, bro. Don't worry about it.
That's good. We'll make it work.
Yeah, we will. We'll figure something out. You casted Friday Night Fortnite this week. You want to hop into that a little bit and tell us a little bit about how that went for you?
It was a blast. UMG Gaming did their normal Friday Fortnite. They've there was like a break where they weren't doing it. I think during like the qualifiers for the most part.
Yeah.
They just came back, and I think it's like week 6 that they've been back, I want to say. And yeah, they actually had this past week was sponsored by Mr. Beast, and he just casually gave away 10 grand to somebody in chat, which was pretty great. And yeah, the idea was like literally to win. Like, imagine this, right? So there's already 12,000 people watching the stream, right? Which is nutty. And the idea was, okay, if you want to win the 10K, just type in chat, literally anything, and we'll pick a winner. What a terrible idea. Just because it just ranged from absolute spam to giant paragraph sob stories that no one can read, even if they wanted to, because it's flying by. Like, everyone's just hammering at their keyboard.
Yeah.
And then the guy that ended up winning was just a guy that said, "I love you, Mr. Beast."
Bias.
Right.
But
I thought it was funny though. Like, other than that, the whole thing went for, I think we were just about 7 hours we casted for straight.
Wow.
Short breaks in between, but it was obviously, the way that the pace is, it's nonstop games that we're jumping in and out of. And we did catch a lot of good gameplay, but unfortunately, like, Ninja and his new partner this week was FaZe Sway, I believe it was. They ended up having a game where in the bracket where I think Ninja popped off by himself and he got like 20 something kills. We didn't get to cast that game, but then the game we did cast, they both died like off the rip, and we like didn't get any like solid Ninja gameplay to cast. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate, because I know a lot of people have been gunning for him for a while to pull off one of those wins, but I think this week coming up, they said the Doc is going to be in it, which I'm sad that I don't get to be there for that, but I'm definitely going to be watching because he's always entertaining regardless.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever competed in one of these Zest?
So I used to have a duo that actually competed in them, but I have not yet.
It's harder to get in now. There's very specific brackets that they pick and choose certain names, based on just like, I don't know, follower counts and stuff like that. So
yeah, but you need to have like 100K or something like that, something crazy to get in.
That's what it's like. What do you call it? It's kind of like, that's what I've heard. I have heard that, but I'd say that those are kind of in line right now with like how like a Twitch partnership is. Like, for example, it's like you need to have this many concurrent viewers, which is like they just use that as kind of like a staple for like general population. But like, really, if you're doing well enough, like if you do have like an audience of some sort that's underneath that, you could still get a partnership. Same to this, like you don't have to have like so many followers, but as long as I guess you're known in some aspect. So they're being a little bit more lenient now because they want to fill the brackets out with like more diverse people and everything.
Yeah, for sure. It makes it more interesting. Do you stream a lot? Like, is that something you're one of your goals maybe to get invited to a Friday Night Fortnite?
So I would obviously love to play in one of the Friday Fortnites. One of my old duos, his name's like Lusky or something like that. He played in week 1 and week 2, and he told me how fun that was. With the streaming part of it though, I did take a break off streaming. And then I kind of got back into it the other day, and then I went on vacation. But now I'm gonna start streaming probably 2-3 hours daily. Try to make it, bounce it into that schedule that I have with the Fortnite customs and VOD reviewing and stuff. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, we wish you the best with that for sure.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Some other news, guys, that's not entirely, it is Fortnite related because it's about this show, but we are now on Spotify.
Boom! Thank God.
Yeah. So unfortunately, clips of the week is, going to be hard to appreciate for you guys if you're not seeing anything, but the rest of the show does pretty well. It's audio only. So make sure you guys check that out. Find it just at Tilted Talk on Spotify, and
that's going to be so sweet. Searching that on there and seeing our logo pop up. I love it.
I pulled it up on my phone today, and I was just like giggling for a little bit. I felt like a schoolgirl. It was awesome.
That's what's up.
But yeah, actually, we kind of got away from this before I even touched on it. But there's a cup this weekend already for trios.
Yes.
So Epic has decided, it's a little bit of a break. It's not for World Cup format because it's 3v3 and there's nothing like that at the World Cup. My thought is that they're going to be gauging interest on this to see if maybe next year's World Cup will have trios. Are you going to be playing this weekend, Zest? Are you going to try and get into that?
Yes. So I actually got a trio this morning. One of my neighbors, which is great, and I actually found someone in Atlantis. So I will be competing in that. Look out, HP Zest. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
That's good that you have a local. Well, one of your teammates are local because I mean, if you guys have good connection, like your ping is low, I mean that's good that's right away good for both of you. You know that.
Yes.
For sure. So you said this is your neighbor?
So yeah, he's one of my childhood friends. I've known him probably since third, fourth grade. But he's really good. He competed in mixer matchups with me and a couple two local friends also.
Wow, that's actually super lucky that you have someone local that's like actually talented at the game too. And then because you guys can VOD review together, you can bounce stuff off each other easily. Like you can get together and watch things and see what he sees, and you can see what he can see what you see. In the sense that you guys can kind of, I think that does a lot for learning how your teammate thinks and being able to predict what your teammate's going to do in a given situation. So then that way you can react according to that, right? And you kind of avoid the thing where you're both doing the exact same thing at the exact same time or not being intelligent about it necessarily.
Yeah. It does. It does help us, even if we have comes over one day and we could eat lunch together and look at VOD reviews while we're doing that, or even chemistry works like that. Like if we go outside and we learn about each other, it's it's good.
Yeah. Awesome.
What's outside?
What is outside?
What was that?
There's a world outside. Outside, I understand the inside.
Outside,
and the upside down. I know about that too. Stranger Things. What up, bud? Okay, cool. Well, best of luck this weekend. Are you going to be streaming that so people can watch?
Probably not. Just because when you stream, a lot of people deal with it. A lot of pros. Is when you stream, you see there's a lot of people watching you, and you get kind of nervous. So it tilts my gameplay a little bit. But yeah, that's why I don't really usually stream those. But there might be a YouTube video on it, some highlights from it. So.
Yeah. At the very least, do that, dude. Record, and then you can afterwards, once the pressure's off, you can kind of go through that and clip out all your best moments and all that sort of stuff, right? And people love watching those. People love highlights in general.
They do.
We're a highlight society now. TLDR. Highlights, please. Okay, so that pretty much covers the news from this week, guys. We will now get into the hot takes, our community discussions. So there's two things that I wanted to talk about this week. The first is actually a really interesting idea that I don't think I'd heard brought up before. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention, but this is a newish idea that I think the community was having a lot of fun with. And I'd love to hear your take as an actual competitive player on this, Zest. Yeah. So the idea of claiming structures. So let's just say we're playing Fortnite and I kill you in a game. All of your builds would become my builds in the sense that I could now edit these builds after having killed you. We have a little graphic that kind of explains it and does a good job of that. So do you think this is a good idea, or do you think that it's not a good idea? What is your thought on just the general idea or the general concept itself? If I kill you, should I get your builds, or do you like how it is now?
Okay, so I think it was brought up about maybe I'd say early season 5. This was brought up a while ago, and at that time I agreed with it because I back then when there wasn't a lot of mobility, now there's shadow bombs, stuff like that, like cars and stuff like that. I agreed with it because it's hard to get out of some places, when you have to get out of places and you can't edit everything. But if you kill someone, you can edit out of everything. You don't have to waste all your stuff. All right, let's just put it this way. Okay. So if we're playing trios and me and my teammates, we have 100 materials and we need to get to the next zone. Mm-hmm. And these kids just came from that zone and they have builds going all the way down. We don't have to worry about someone editing on us because it's their build. We know it's ours because we killed them, and we could see F is edit, whatever your key is. So I feel like if they gave it to us, that'd be great for the players who are, fragging out. It gives you a chance to be aggro. It gives you a reason. And I feel like the duo Vinny Zextro, one of the most aggro duos in competitive play, you know, they will shine in this, and it'll bring back kind of their golden age.
Okay. So, I mean, personally, I think this is kind of a cool idea. Like, I kind of like it. Tyler, what do you think? You're being awfully quiet over there.
I think no. Well, they kind of tested something similar to this. Wasn't there an LTM? Remember where everybody could edit anybody's build? Remember that?
Yep.
I forget what they called it.
Okay.
I don't exactly remember what they called it, but yeah, it was pretty similar to this.
They had a cup on it.
Oh, that's right. They did have a
competitive cup.
It wasn't the Scavenger Cup. I think it was the Architect Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
because that makes sense with the name. But I remember watching clips of like Tfue and other players. I mean, like some of the top tier players, like they started getting like crazy with the IQ on some of these plays. I mean, because they were able to just, you know, everything was like free reign. I mean, it was pretty scary how more technical some of these players can get with just that small, well, I shouldn't say small, but that restriction of not being able to edit builds. I definitely would change things a lot, but man, that would muddy things if, you know, there's two guys that had a build fight and then you come in and kill a guy and kill one of them, but he kills the other one. So you own half of these now twisted build. So like, I can see like if you do kill that guy, now you own everything in the structure. But if you're third partying, like it plays into that now. Now it's like third party and you don't really get the benefit from that fully either. So, and also the person that survived can now, like you said, can like fight back. Yeah. I don't hate the idea personally, but I mean, Zest, you mentioned it. This is definitely something they've talked about for like for a long time. And I think that's one of the main reasons why that was brought in as a game mode in the first place.
Yeah. With the Architect Cup, when that was going on and everybody could edit everyone's build, I actually remember playing in that. And that was one of those times where at that everybody was like hating Fortnite. Because, you know, literally you would sit in your box and you'd be like, okay, now I'm safe now. Nobody can attack me. And out of nowhere, somebody just edit your build, come in and one pump you and you're dead. Just like that. And you farm for 10 minutes. Someone edits the build and you're dead. You know what I mean? So
I remember that happened to me and I was like, this is stupid.
Yeah. People, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that is pretty dumb. So that's kind of why I think this middle ground idea is kind of interesting, where it's not necessarily anybody can just edit everything, because I do agree that defeats the purpose to an extent of having your own builds. But once you're dead, or once your duo is dead, or, you know, your trio, like once your team is off the map, then those become the property of whoever killed you. Where I would see this getting really complicated is in duos or in trios. Like if you guys were on a duo and I killed one of you and then another team came in and killed the other, who gets the builds? Right? Like it'd be a bit more complicated.
Well,
but
I guess everyone on the team gets to edit the same builds. So it would just be, I guess, whoever's left standing after each fight. Technically, if one person on your duo or trio got a kill, then I guess I see what you mean. Because then it would just be that one. Would it be that one specific player he killed? Did he get the builds, or the whole team?
I think it'd be the whole team.
Well, yeah, but that should make more sense. I'd say it makes most sense if you get final kill. If there's one guy left and then like he doesn't go down, it's an insta kill, and like the final death on the team, that makes sense. I think. But
you're right.
Because obviously, if there's still others alive, it would make sense that they still control whatever they have. So yeah, that does make sense.
Okay. Well, there you, man.
We fixed Fortnite, guys.
Look at us. We're game devs here. We just theory tested in like 2 seconds and got the answer. We don't know if it's right, but we're gonna act like it is. So, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting discussion that was going on, and I wouldn't be opposed, especially after the World Cup. Do not do this week, Epic. If you're listening, don't do it. But next week, or 2 weeks from now, sorry, after the World Cup's done, I would love to see them experiment with this. I would love to see how it goes. I'd love to get the community feedback. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? It's not that big of a deal. You're testing airstrikes, and we've tested a sword before. So like, I think this would be a positive test to run, and maybe it turns into something really cool. The other community discussion that's going on is about random. So Epic a while back kind of acknowledged that, hey, we realize some of our skins have wonky visual effects for the people using them. So giving out this completely random skin thing it's not ideal. But obviously they want to show random skins to the spectators. how do they go about doing this? Because again, I could be wrong, but I've looked around. I spent some time on the internet today even searching for this, and I don't think Epic, even though they've announced we're going to change this, there's going to be some sort of new system. It's not announced yet what that is. So I guess my questions for you guys are, and Zest, because you actually compete, this would be really great to have your feedback here as well.
Yeah.
One, how bad is the actual problem of having a random skin when you're playing? Two, what do they do to make it fair for everybody competing? And three, how do they keep it? How do they keep their goal of, you know, showing off all the crazy artwork they've done and showing all the skins to the fans who are watching, but not having that affect the in-game competition?
Okay, so I mean, I remember them doing this. I don't know what event it was at, but I think it was PAX West, maybe East. Whatever the last Fortnite event was out of those E3, PAX West, or TwitchCon, they did it. And I remember Tfue actually getting one of the new skins. It was like a Halloween skin. I remember him getting it. And, you know, like, I feel like if they did the random skins and they didn't have their players choose their skins, it would kind of make it a little bit more fair. But I'm saying this not because, you know, Epic does it or whatever, because players know what each player's favorite skin is and their main skin. So let's just say Tfue's, you know, at World Cup and they're letting them stream, right? Or you know, he's about to win, and another player's like, oh, I don't want Tfue to win, and they know that's his skin. They're gonna go right for him. They're gonna target him and do whatever they can to ruin his opportunity. You know what I mean? If they give them random skins, you don't know who Tfue is. You know, you could shoot him 30 million times, and if he doesn't die, you don't know if it's Tfue or not.
Right.
If they have random skins, you're never gonna know. But I feel like preferably me, and I know a couple other people in the Fortnite community, they hate when they have to wear male skins. And they feel like the girl skins help them play better. They have more confidence because they think they're faster. They have a smaller hitbox, you know, stuff like that. I think it's just like a mental thing, but that's like what Fortnite is. It's just like yeah.
I mean, I think the hitbox argument, as far as I'm aware, every skin has the same hitbox and every skin has the same movement speed, right? The only difference is how it appears visually on your screen. But the problem is that, like, for example, that Zoe skin, I think this is the first skin that really had that problem, where it's like super obvious, was that the pigtail is like, if you ADS, like, her hair takes up half of the screen. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, it actually
same problem
limits
with
your field of view.
Skin. There was a giant armor piece that totally blocked your ADS too.
Right,
they had to fix it.
So if you get that skin and you have to, and you get into a fight, you're in an inherent disadvantage. Now, one of the things that I think there's two possible ways that this could get played out, and you guys can kind of, you know, let me know what works. Epic could either speak to the competitive community and get a pool of skins, right? Mm-hmm. That is like, you know, not all of the skins in the game, but a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, these skins are all even in the sense that there's nothing inherently blocking your field of view with these skins. So they're all in the same level ground. And then just use that as the random pool. So you can have a reduced random pool.
Imagine this. Imagine you, I was going to say, imagine that they sell, like, there's so many players that use a soccer skin with the jerseys. What if they sold esports orgs like jerseys?
I wish they did that.
Imagine that. Like, you know what I mean? They would make so much money if they did that. Obviously, there are so many orgs that I feel like it would be too hard for them to do. They'd have to have one or two that they'd have to do a deal with. Like maybe FaZe, because they're so ingrained into Fortnite, for example, or 100 Thieves maybe. But yeah, I feel like that would be the optimal thing. Players each having their own org skin.
Yeah.
And then for people that don't have an org, maybe they go no skin or the random skins, you know?
Yeah, or they go the plain person. But I think Epic's main goal with this, and while I agree that we should have esports skins in Fortnite, because you see it in CSGO, you see it in a whole bunch of other games. And guys, by the way, like, if you send the model, like you send the artwork template for a skin to the orgs, I'm pretty sure they'd get their graphic guys to do it if they got, honestly, my guess, if I just had to take an educated guess on why this hasn't happened, is because the esports orgs want a percentage of the revenue from their skin sales, and Epic hasn't had to do that once yet, right? So I don't think that's probably, like, why would we implement something where we can implement another thing that's the same thing, but we get 100% of the revenue instead of 50%, right? That would be my guess, at least. But I think it's definitely an interesting play. My other question is, though, is how possible do you guys think it would be, and would this be a viable solution to have players? It would obviously tie into the issue that Zest brought up, but if a player picks his own skin, and then the spectator client itself did a mod kind of thing where it remapped everyone's skins to random, but that wouldn't affect what you saw in the actual game.
Had the same idea. Yep, I agree. I was thinking that too. Although for highlights, like looking back, it might be weird because then they'll have a different skin. I mean, that's the only weird thing. I would love to play with Peely just for its troll value, but you can't because half of your screen is blocked. Like you can't play with that skin, for example. And whoever's stuck with it, Godspeed. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and then whoever's like, oh, cool, I get a free headshot with the sniper on Peely. Yeah, you thought you're not gonna hit the head. It's so hard to figure out where the tip begins and where the neck ends. It's ridiculous. Like things like that, on top of the Ragnarok, on top of the Zoe skin, there's so many of them have these crazy features that, yeah, I mean, it's just a straight disadvantage for whoever's like unlucky enough to just jump out of the bus and be like, oh, great, like I'm stuck with this skin, you know?
Yeah.
Already have to plan around that.
Yeah.
And I agree with him with everything he said.
Okay.
Everything. I don't have any comments.
Word.
Well,
Yeah.
we're on the right track here.
Wrapped a
Getting
nice
agreement-
bow on that one.
We're getting agreement from the competitive players, Tyler. This is all we've ever dreamed of. Validation.
I think the whole community is like in agreement on like 99% of the
Yeah.
topics too. We're just kind of like waiting, you know, for a lot of this stuff to be put in action.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say 99% agreement on everything. There is, if you go on the
Right,
Fortnite
yeah, that's
subreddit
true.
and you go on comments and videos and stuff, there is a lot of disagreement, a lot of debate sometimes. It's just the nature of having millions and millions and millions of people play something. Like, it's hard to get a million people to agree on anything. Like, I feel like if you polled a million people, is the sky normally blue? You might get a couple people that say no, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just
I
the way
guess-
this works.
I guess for what I mean is, as far as competitive integrity goes, I think everybody does want the same thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's definitely for sure.
Yeah, that's true. We definitely want the game to be as fair and competitive as possible. We don't want anybody winning or losing due to something that's not in their control, right? We
Yep.
want everybody to finish where they deserve to finish based on their performance. Okay, well, with all that being said, it's now time for clips of the week.
All right.
We got the first one kind of ruined by us. It wasn't E11 chicken. It was, oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that what that said right there?
Yeah. It is chicken.
You might as well play
Sorry.
it though.
Yeah, we might as well run this clip. If you guys haven't seen this
It was
yet,
ridiculous.
this is ridiculous.
I
This is
haven't
actually
seen it.
ridiculous. Oh, okay. Well, just wait, my friend. Just put yourself in one of these players' shoes. Now, this is a squad game, so like obviously, you know, there's not
Threw it in
probably not
such
the
a
most
good
competitive games.
It like fully expanded out to like the storm wall. That was such a great throw. Like
so
you,
I
you
believe he
just see the
gets 10
knots.
elims. There's 2, 3.
Oh God.
There's one that gets. Oh no, I think that's a different one.
That's a-
4, 5.
Yeah, and who knows? Some of these people could be
6.
without a duo, so they could be insta kills.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
7. I think that
And the thing is, they're all bleeding out. They all got knocked already, but they're now
Yeah.
all just bleeding out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes everybody else low, so it's kind of easy to pick up other kills then because they have no health. They only have
Yep.
shield.
Yeah, he can just rain from the top. Everyone's gonna be in panic mode.
Yeah.
Where are they? Is this Mega Mall? Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I see the sign. What a crap place to fight endgame. Oh my god. This is not ideal.
Nope.
Not at
He's
all.
still getting kills without shooting people. Damn, bro. How can
Yeah.
you not be happy about that? I'd be pumping my fist after that game, regardless if I
Yeah.
got killed. Kidding me? Like I won that game as far as I'm concerned. Like I don't even care if I was in his shoes.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was just one of the more ridiculous clips I've seen. I saw that today and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, really?"
That can't be in World Cup, man.
No. That and airstrikes just cannot.
You're going for $3 million and for the top prize, you are gonna cheese your way to $3 million. I know I would, because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not cheating. They have it in the game. It's not like
Yeah.
people are gonna. It's different. It's not like the Discord scrims where people are gonna do like a
Yeah,
a gentleman's agreement. No storm flips or airstrikes. Yeah, right. The one guy that barely squeaked in with the baller, he's gonna be like salivating at the mouth, like picking all of them up and hoarding them and winning the game. So yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, there's definitely no gentleman's agreements going on there.
No.
All right. Clip number 2. We will go to you. JS Lunatic. Let's pull this up. Nowhere near as impressive as the last one. But a no scope.
Oh, geez. Those poor souls. This is like a snuff film. This is just sad. They were not ready at all.
No, they were not expecting that.
I like the style point. Unless he accidentally didn't know he had the sniper, he could have easily just used that, shot that piece out with the heavy, and then used a shotgun or whatever. I don't know. I didn't notice what else he had in his inventory, but he was just trying to gain style points for that one.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, I mean, that's what we reward, right?
I think I'm gonna blind fire my sniper next time I see people trying to 5 under a cone like that.
Just hit him with the blind snipe. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, clip number 3. Clayton 11.
Let's see what these got. Oh,
what skin is that?
Ooh, yeah, what skin is that? Is that Nvidia one that they released a while back?
Oh, that's not it. That's something else.
So that's
It's too green. Never seen that.
I've actually never seen that either. Is this like a brand new clip? Is this a skin that came out today?
Maybe.
I think so.
I wonder. I do love the shot.
I think it's soccer skins in shop right now.
Doink.
What is that?
That was clean.
Pretty nice.
Oh,
right?
you know what I think that is? There's like a red one of it too. It's like a Cyclops thingy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he just has the skin change color.
I think, yeah.
Ooh.
I think there's like different styles that you can have.
That was a headshot too, wasn't it? 150. Yeah.
That was
that was nice. That was a nice shot. All right.
Super clean.
Yeah. Clip number 4. Twitch.tv/salty.
/salty TV.
Salty TV.
Oh, I know this kid.
You know him?
Oh, he's flying.
Yeah, I used to play with him.
Doink. Oh.
And he ain't done. He ain't done.
Oh, he's stuck behind the RV. GG.
Oh, he's still not done.
He's out of builds. He's out of builds. Oh, he's like, I don't need it. Screw it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, now you just have to go aggro because you can't build
spam
up.
him.
Oh, put your back against the wall. Genius. Oh, dude, this guy.
This guy's smart. And he gets all those mats and everything, and then
that was a great play.
Right?
All right, so those are 4 clips we've seen. I mean, the chicken play was great, but as far as technical skill goes, bro, that last clip, that was I'm all in for that one.
Yeah. I'll do the last.
He had no mats left. Oh, okay. He just went full utility and used the shockwave, and just, hey, we were talking about earlier, but he pretty much stole their builds right after that. He just whooped their ass.
Yeah.
Builds. That was mad impressive.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, oh, a good clip. Excellent. Wonderful. I like these things. Guys, send us your clips. We want to feature you. Please. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a place they can send them? Because I didn't even know I could send clips in.
Oh, yeah, dude. So we have a Discord, which the link will be in the video description and also gets dropped in chat. You should 100% join our Discord. And we have a channel there where you can drop the clips. If that sounds like too much work for you or whoever's watching, you can also tweet them at myself or the other trooper here, and we will look at them and we will judge you. But not really. We just want to be impressed with Fortnite stuff. So please send us your clips. We love showing these off, and we love seeing good plays. But now, drum roll, please. It's time to decide who is the winner of the clip of the week. The community has spoken. We did have a vote, and we will see what people said. Please be right, community.
Oh, whoa.
He got 0 votes?
0, dude.
0 votes.
Ow, man.
Yo.
Man.
Guys, please.
Oh, man,
Please.
dude.
How do we give clip number 2 vote and clip number 4 got nothing?
I mean, that clip was eye-opening, but
Dude, like this clip was hilarious. Like I understand this winning. Okay, like it's not necessarily just straight technical skill. It's just whatever pulling something off can be crazy sometimes. But
I guess people were going just by pure the amount of kills. I'm assuming. I mean, but like he's building and he's racking up kills. Like that's so different than what we just watched from Salty TV. I got to give him the honorary victory just for my heart. Salty, you get a Twitch follow for me at the very least.
yeah. You definitely get the production team's vote, I guess, and guest and all that good stuff. We were on your side, Salty. You made those guys real salty.
Can't give
We
it to
love
them. Oh, you gotta give it to the man.
people just voting.
Shame.
Shame.
The
Come on,
storm
guys, get
flip.
together.
God, the damn storm flip strikes again. It's even screwing up our show,
And
man.
stole
Not
clip
just
of the
the
week
game.
too, not just the tournament. God
Damn.
All right. Well.
2 OP, man. That's what do you say? 2 OP.
Yeah. 2 OP. All right. Well, I think that pretty much does it. Guys, remember, we are now on Spotify. You can check us out there. We really hope you do, and we'll keep you entertained while you're on the subway or, going somewhere and have no access to anything but Spotify. We've got your back now. Zest, thank you so much for coming on this week. Please, what's your Twitter? What's your YouTube channel? If you stream, what's your stream? Like, give us everything that we can kind of plug and let the fans know where to find you.
Okay, so my Twitch is Zest and then FPS, the letters. My Twitter is Zest IYE. It's my Twitch. I kind of have to make it all together. And then my Twitter is ZestFN if you want to go check that out.
Okay, cool. Do you have anything coming up that you want people to know about?
Right now, oh yes. So I have a new video coming up in about a couple, probably actually maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
It's not Fortnite related, but it's gonna be really funny. It's gonna be really funny, I promise. Can't really spoil anything yet, but it's gonna be really good. So yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, go check that out. Make sure you are watching. And thank you so much for sticking around and watching this whole show. Thank you, Zest, for coming on and talking with us tonight. And everybody, we will see you on the next episode of Tilted Talk. Until then, goodbye.